The Cole Bennett interview. I feel like he's about to drop some knowledge.
Hearing Cole Bennett and Arshan speak and get more intel.
Cole Bennett just spitting game, man. Free knowledge, man. Shout out to Cole, shout out to Arshan. Goated. Both goats.
I don't even know how can I announce this guy. He's one of my biggest inspirations, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to start this channel, and a huge reason why you guys are here. So let's give it up for Cole Bennett.
What's up? What's up, guys? It is a good song, man. Good work.
Give it up for Cole, man. Let's get it. Oh yeah.
It's a good fit right there.
First of all, the mic setup, insane, swag, so swag. Like I said, I don't even know how to introduce you, bro. You are one of the biggest reasons I wanted to start KTO. There is no KTO without Cole Bennett. I always say that. But thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Let's get into it, man. Well, what have you been doing in New York ever since you've been here?
I got to New York on Sunday. Today is Thursday. I've been in a few meetings and just kind of, when I'm here, I just like walking around. It's the only place where I feel like I could just walk all day. I haven't gotten in a taxi one time. If it's 45 minutes or less, I'll just walk. And other than that, I've just been locked in my hotel room, editing and writing and doing what I usually do, just in New York City in a hotel room.
Hell yeah. Has it been different editing in a hotel room opposed to like, I remember when I went to your house, Cole has this room where there's just like nostalgia everywhere. There's like games, posters, and I remember you were editing a video then. So how is it editing in like a hotel room? Is it like harder? Or?
It's good switching the environment. I like an atmospheric change, and something about being cooped up in a hotel room and just ordering room service and just putting the blackout shades on and being in darkness feels inspiring and creative. So I like it. I couldn't do it all the time, but a week or so here and there is good for me.
You need a change of scenery for sure. I mean, I know a lot of you guys got to try the actual Lyrical Lemonade. How was that? You guys like that? And like I would ask what the inspiration behind it was, but it's like kind of self-explanatory. But yeah, how did you come up with that and like want to do that?
Well, I think when you have, what's out there? When you have a company named Lyrical Lemonade, it's hard to avoid the idea of, at least thinking about making an actual beverage at some point. So since I was in high school, it was always just a thought of mine, and I would always, make lemonade and put a sticker on it. If we did a pop-up shop in Chicago or something, we would just, put a sticker over an existing lemonade and call it Lyrical Lemonade and, give one away with every t-shirt purchase or whatever it may be. And the first year of the Lyrical Lemonade Festival in 2018 in Chicago, my mom and sister actually ran the lemonade stand, and we had a ton of Country Time lemonade mix, and we made just gallons and gallons of lemonade in my garage that I grew up in my hometown house. And we sold this lemonade at the festival in a cup, and you look up and you see the festival, and I'm like, wow, this is a real thing. And one thing led to the next, and the idea started to build, and we came up with the actual formula that we've tweaked over the years. And now fast forward to today, we're on Amazon and we're in 7-Eleven, and by summertime.
Hell yeah, give it up, man. Yeah, for sure. And I know that's not easy to do, man. Like, there have been a lot of people who have tried to enter the drink business, and I'm sure it's very risky and scary. What was the process of like taste testing and being like, is this right? Nah, I could be better than this. Like, what was the actual process? I'm curious, like how does that work? Do you go to a factory or something, or?
Yeah, so we've been taste testing for years, and over the years the formula's changed and we've gotten it to where it is now, but it's just trial and error like anything else. Something that might taste really good might not be that good for you. So learned that over the years and dialed it back, and now we have a really clean formula that is amazing in taste and has good ingredients, and like I'm just super excited about it. The whole thing is surreal.
I gotta say, it's so incredible to see the kid who started making underground music videos ends up having his own lemonade. Like, who would have thought, bro? Did you think at that time that you'd have your own product like that you could sell?
I didn't, and I think every day I have these moments where like I'm trying to normalize the normal in my life, and it's a really bizarre feeling because nothing feels normal. You know, like I'm still that kid from Plano, Illinois that had big dreams, and the fact that it's all happening, I have to pinch myself, but also remind myself that I'm supposed to be here and that I prepared myself over the years and that I just want to lead the same way with the same heart, with the same intentions and purity. And it's always good to just ground yourselves in those moments of dreams coming into reality. Because I think we see a lot of people that have these moments or go through these things in these different chapters in their career, and it's easy to get lost. There's so much going on, and it's difficult for the human brain to like make sense of it all. But
Yeah.
you know, even these last few days, I'm just like, what is life? Like, what's going on right now? But I'm thankful, and I'm just ready.
No, definitely Cole is the most intentional person that I've met. Nothing will come out that's just like random. There's always so much thought behind it. And I gotta talk about it because since our last interview, you dropped a whole album. Cole dropped All Is Yellow, and I want to know, it's been like almost 2 months ever since, and obviously you have incredible like emotions when it releases, but what about now, like 2 months later, how are you feeling?
I'm still even better. I had a moment today where I was like, wow, I really gave away the last year of my life. Like, of course, it was great, and I experienced things, and I had memories, but I was in it the whole time. Like, I detached from friends and family and people close to me at the beginning of it all. I literally said, I called out to family and, you know, close friends of mine. I was like, just treat me like I'm in prison or I'm in the military. Like I'm alive, I'm okay. But we're gonna have to have some distance for a little bit because I'm on a mission.
Absolutely.
And like the coolest thing for me was just building relationships over the years with so many talented musicians and seeing them follow like my vision and seeing all these people in the same wardrobe and falling behind, you know, that curtain. It's just like, that really happened. The main goal of that project was to open the door for creatives to do things outside of their comfort zone. Like whoever thought a music video director could curate an album and bring all these people together. I want to open the door for future creatives and directors and people in the creative space to there's really no boundaries. The boundaries are what we make them. And, you know, the journey is really yours. And I know it's cliche, but it's the honest truth. And I want people to realize that, like, nothing is impossible. Everything is proof of concept. What you're working on right now, what you're showing to the world, your work ethic, your consistency is just proof of concept of how something can come to fruition. I mean, look at you. Clap it up for him. Like, look at us right now. You created a YouTube channel and an Instagram page to highlight underground talent. You do interviews, you articulate yourself well, you respect your guests, you are very well curated with how you select who you put on your platform. And now we're at a real life experience curated by you. And it's just like, it feels no different than when we did that interview a few months ago. It's just us just having a good conversation, and now we get to welcome people to experience it with us. Like, there's energy in this room, there's energy we can all feel. And it's important because someone might leave here tonight and be like, yo, like, I'm about to make it happen. Because I know when I have a good conversation, like, I'll probably leave here tonight feeling that way. Like, It's good to recognize that, and it's good to recognize what conversation can do. So kudos to you. But to speak on what you asked, it feels surreal, and I'm just beyond thankful, and I'm excited to open that door. I think that was like the biggest accomplishment for me, is to open the door for other kids who just are running out with a camera or an idea and realizing that they can make it bigger than what people would look at it as at the forefront of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And give it up for Cole for that. Absolutely. Also, just want to say, hearing you say that about me, bro, that means the world. Like,
Truth. It's the truth.
I appreciate it.
Look at us up here just throwing on that's my sport.
I do have to say, though, I think that this album, I don't think it was just fully meant to listen to. I think it makes a lot more sense through the music videos. And there's like little hidden things that you connect between the videos and like social posts and things like that. So how does this album make more sense once you see all of the music videos?
Well, I made it for visual format, so it's like the story doesn't fully make sense until the very end, and we're not at the very end yet. And when I stitch all the videos together, it's one full piece that kind of acts as...
So each video that you drop is like in order, as like one continuous...
They're not in order. So from sonically, the track list is arranged differently than visually. So when I stitch it all together visually, which is why I made the album, it will make a lot more sense. But it's a great journey because I get to see people interpret the project in so many different ways. So I'll see some people that are like, why did Jack Harlow and Dave copy Corbin, Black Cray, and Tracy's outfits on this one video? Like, people who don't fully understand the universe or might see a video here, a video there, but don't know that it's part of one big piece.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you know, why do you keep reusing that curtain? Like, are you getting lazy? It's just like, it's funny, and I get it from a consumer standpoint, but sometimes as a creator, you need to kind of go through that and like go through this story and kind of be patient for the audience to understand. They see a yellow tie, oh, this person's on the album. Like, to be able to create a wardrobe that people identify to an album is really important. So I think storytelling comes in a lot of different layers. I think there's storytelling in everything we do. I think there's storytelling in this event that we're at today. It started with us having a great conversation, but before that, it started with you coming over and listening to a little bit of the album, and there's layers to everything. So, you know, we storytell through color, we storytell through wardrobe, we storytell through set design, IRL experiences, so on and so forth. So it's all an experience, and it's all a story, and it's open to the audience to interpret it as they wish.
100%, yeah. Yeah. And I do want to ask, you know, there's no way that you had 14 songs and you're like, all right, this is the album. I know for a fact that there's other artists that you recorded with, other, you know, like what didn't make the album, whether it's artists or songs?
Making an album is very interesting. I feel so much for musicians, and I understand them way more than I ever have. Obviously, I'm not the one, you know,
rapping?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Not yet,
but no. But I have such an understanding for attachment and detachment from art, and I think that if you make an album over a 12-month period, it's so easy to fall in love with something, fall out of love with something, abandon something, add something last minute. So I think you just learn so much about the relationship and the marriage with the process, with the art, with what you're making, and trying to make it feel cohesive. I think if I didn't provide myself and my team provide me with like deadlines, it would have never ended. It would have just kept happening, because I'd be like, I don't like this song anymore. I want to put this person on here, or whatever it may be. And you also have to keep mindful of all the artists that are on the project. There's 30 plus people that, you know, if Yachty laid something 12 months ago, you know, by the time we're putting out the album, he's working on something with James Blake. It may not make sense for him to be on this Chief Keef song. Like, you never know. So you have to be not only mindful of your own relationship with the art, but mindful of 30 plus artists in their relationship with the art, because you want to put out something that everyone's proud of and then we're all in together, instead of something that someone's just like, yeah, I'll do it for you. Like, I don't really feel connected to this right now, but I'll do it for you because we have a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it's one of those things. It's tricky to explain.
No, I feel you. And I know that when we talked, there was like certain artists you mentioned that might be on it, might not be on it. If you can disclose it, like, are there artists that like didn't make the cut but did have some involvement, you know?
Yeah, like Rocky was the one feature on the album that I was really bummed didn't make it. We worked on it for a while. He was on Say It Grace with...
right, Rocky was on Say It Grace,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and we cut it at his house and like everything was good. He was halfway in, halfway out, like he wanted to retouch some of his parts, and then the night before we turned it in, he's like, I need to change one last thing.
The night before you turned in the album?
Yeah, the night before I turned in the album. And he was like, what if I just give you this other song that he had already made, and it just didn't really sonically sit, and we didn't really have time for him to retouch his verse. So you just kind of have to let things like that go, because if you keep down that road, like I said, you never finish the project.
Yeah.
And people are going through their own real life things, like at all times. Like, who knows what Rocky's schedule looks like for the next 2 weeks? Like, I can't lean on him and trust that he'll get that verse, you know, reworked in time. And now I'm thinking about 30 other artists in their schedule, and they already approved this, you know, release date. So it's like so many moving parts, and you just need to know when to be able to detach from something and be like, damn, I really wish that would have happened, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and you could have waited for a bit, and you could have been like, all right, I'll send it this day, and then you wait another week, and it just, yeah, I don't think that's the way to go. And I do have to respect you, and I've said this to you before, that like, you could have definitely taken that other ASAP Rocky song and been like, all right, let's just slap it on, you know, but it's not how it works. That's not something that you're 100% how they would, you know.
And Rocky is, through the time I've spent with him, he's a real artist, and he appreciates people who think from that mindset. So I think he respects, you know, someone understanding their vision and knowing what that looks like. So I know that we'll work on other things down the road and keep a good relationship. And, you know, you just got to trust the process.
Absolutely. And it was cool because I felt like a little bit of inspiration from like a ASAP Rocky's Cozy Taint when I was listening to this album a little. And, you know, I think one thing that's people were wondering is like, why didn't Yeat make the album? Because I know you and Yeat are close collaborators. Like, did you try? Or?
Yeah, so I don't like asking favors that feel like I'm forcing someone's hand to do something. And he had been working on 2093 for over a year now. So I didn't really want to get in the way of what he was working on. And at the same time, like, man, the suit thing was really important to me. Like,
you wouldn't get in a suit?
Anyone that I assumed might not get in a suit, like, I just wiped the idea from my head. Like, early on, I was like, yeah, Yeat's probably not going to be on the album. I'm not going to be able to get him in a suit. That's why Central Cee didn't make the album. I'll play the song after the Central Cee song. It's really good.
Yeah.
That's why I left him off the album. And just like, you know, once you have a vision, you gotta stay true to it. And in the moment, people might be like, why would you make that decision? But if you know what you're making and you're making it for yourself and only yourself, then you'll be proud of that body of work years down the road. If I would have compromised and like did the Chief Keef video and he wasn't wearing a suit, I would never be able to live that down. Like, I'm so proud that he put on that fucking suit. Like, it means a lot to me.
That's all. That's all.
Oh yeah, this is amazing.
No ties and shit though. That shit.
That's fine. That's fine.
And you gotta stay true to your initial vision.
It's so funny with the whole Chief Keef suit thing. I know we talked about it in our interview, and then like it blew up. Like, I couldn't escape my For You page without seeing. First, it was just like the clip of us talking, and then it was like you released some behind-the-scenes footage of you telling Chief Keef like, "Yo, please, can you wear the suit?" And people like stitched it together with like epic music, and I'm like, "Yo, this is the hardest edit ever."
Yeah, no, it went viral. That was cool because it helped tell the story. Like, us doing that interview provided context on what was to come. And I remember so many people asking me, like, where's that video with Chief Keef in the suit? Like, it was just like such a thing. And then the video came out and the BTS came out and people were like connected to the story because they had heard it before and then they saw it come to fruition and they felt like we were all a part of it, you know?
Man, that was amazing, man. I mean, I also have to say, when I came to your house and you were playing me your album early on, you were very adamant on like, be honest, critique it, you know, tell me your honest thoughts. And I respect that a lot because with the praise that you would get for this album, I noticed that you were also very like keen to know like negative reviews too. Like I saw like a Anthony Fantano review and like you commented under that. You did an interview with him. I saw like you commenting under people's videos that talked about your album, good or bad, you know? So talk to me about that, because I don't see many artists doing that.
Man, when I tell you I was thrilled when I watched Anthony Fantano's review, like I mean that, you know, like what he gave the project like a 6, and I was like, or maybe a 5, I don't remember.
But you have to remember, Fantano 6 is like a normal person 9.
Yeah, so I was super thrilled by that, and you know, just hearing some of the nice things he had to say about the project meant a lot to me. And then we have to remind ourselves that there's so much to be excited and thankful for. Like Anthony Fantano reviewing an album that I curated, like that's cool to me, you know, like that's good enough for me. And then like Pitchfork gave it a rating that wasn't bizarrely low. I mean, it wasn't great, but it made me feel like I really did it, you know, I really put it out. And I went into it knowing that I wasn't thinking about the response or the results. Of course, it is hard to, you know, not look at some of the negative reviews, but for every negative review, there was just as many good reviews. And I think that it taught me a lot. And it taught me a lot about my artist friends who put out projects and kind of crawl into a cave afterwards, because I've seen people get unmotivated and depressed based on maybe a album or a project they put out not being what they thought it would be. So when you go into something with this and you disconnect from the idea of results, then you're just thankful because you're like, you did it. And for me, it's like, I'm still not done with the album rollout, and I'm sure people are like, okay, like, we get it, man. Like, suits, ties, yellow curtain, we get it. But I did it. We spoke in our interview about, you know, people putting out an album and forgetting about it, posting the album cover once, and that's it. I dedicated a year of my life to this project. So whether you like it or not, I'm going to keep pushing it until I'm done, because that's what's important to me.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
So,
hell yeah. And I think that goes for anyone, whether you're someone the size of Cole or whether you're like a small artist, someone in this room, like whether you have your 20 million monthly listeners or your 1,000, you should treat every rollout like that, you know? And it's kind of hard to grasp when you're like smaller. You're like, why would I do that, bro? But that's what everyone should be doing, you think, right? I want to move on a bit from the album, and I want to ask you guys, who's seen the Carson Fighting My Demons video? Incredible video, and it caught me by surprise so much when I saw you teasing it. Because I think we might have talked, and I was like, yo, would you work with Opium? Like, and you were like, yeah, bro, like people think that I just make these colorful videos, but I can like get in that bag too.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we see Carson Fighting My Demons. How did that happen? Did you hit up Ken directly or hit you up? Or?
Yo, before Cole answers this question, I want to let you guys know how we got here, because I could not have pulled off that entire event without Shopify. Shopify is a commerce platform that allows you to start, grow, and manage a business, and the whole event venue we used in Soho was actually the Shopify NY space. I'm a young entrepreneur, Cole is a young entrepreneur, so when I approached them with this idea, they were super supportive. And the coolest part was, since I was already an existing Shopify user, I got to sell all of the KTO hoodies at the event. I used their POS system, which was literally so easy for me to process transactions and accept payments in person. I will be selling some leftover hoodies tomorrow online using our Shopify store. Got the baby violet, the washed black, so be on the lookout tomorrow on our IG because we don't want your favorite color or your size to run out. Also, if you're a young creative in the music space like me, trust me, there's so many ways to monetize your art. I would suggest starting a Shopify store and actually making a living off what you love. I made it easier for you guys. I have a custom KTO Shopify URL, so you can click that, start a free trial. I'm gonna put the link in the description. But yeah, otherwise, enjoy the rest of this interview.
Kanye and I have been talking about working for a few years. We talk pretty regularly, and he had played me the album like a week before it came out, A Great Chaos. When I heard Fighting My Demons, that bridge moment, I was like, nah, we gotta do this one. Like, we had to do this. And he was like, okay. He's like, I shoot it tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, he was just so ready, and I was so moved by his work ethic and his just, I don't know, his urgency. And he trusted me, and like, bro, that shot in the intro where it goes into his throat, we shot that with a probe lens, which essentially looks like the barrel of a shotgun, and I had to put it, in his mouth. Like, we really had to, but the fact that he was ready to do that told me so much about his artistry and him ready to push limits and just trusting new ideas. And working with him was a pleasure, and I'm really happy with how that video came out. And yeah, it was just good to try something new, because I'm seeing all the opium stuff go on. I'm seeing the artistic style and direction on things, and I'm like, I feel like I could do a really good job at this. And it was just a fun project to work on. I think it got us both out of our comfort zones, and we kind of met in the middle of both of our worlds.
Mm-hmm. And then, sorry, I gotta go back to what you said. It's a good thing that wasn't like a Kevin Gates video or something, because like that would have been a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. But no, shout out to Ken for doing that. He's incredible. I think it was the first time that I've seen the Lyrical Lemonade carton logo not be its color, like it was black and white, you know? Was that his decision?
No, so whenever I'm done editing a video, I'll put the carton on it. And I was watching, and I was like, something about this just doesn't feel right. So then I started working on just a few different variations of the carton. There was one that was like a night vision green. There was one that was like a more like grayish tone. And then when we landed on a white carton, I was like, this feels perfect. And it's the first time I've ever done that on a Lyrical Lemonade video. And then I was shooting this video with Starboy last week, and I'm like, this just feels like this also needs a white carton. And then I had this idea on set where I was like, what if certain videos I have a white carton on it, but the thing is that every artist who had a white carton video prior needs to approve it. So like the Starboy video, Ken needs to approve it. And then the next one, if there is a next one, then Ken and Starboy need to approve it. And then it's kind of just like this badge of honor and this, just this own.
Who thinks of that, bro? Who thinks of that?
I don't know, it just came to me of like, this could be just a fun thing. Like storytelling can be done in so many different ways, and people love layers. And for people who understand that or are following that story, it's a cool thing for them to know, and if you don't, you don't. That's okay too. But I love creating stories within a story, and knowing Ken and Starboy, there may never be another white carton video. But it's just like a fun idea, and who knows? I might not follow that through. I might just slap white cartons on videos anyway if I feel like it fits that vision. But as of right now, that's where I'm at.
I'm thinking of someone who could be in the black and white carton video.
Yeah.
One day, you never know.
What'd you say?
One day, you think?
Who?
Carti.
Oh, Carti. You're talking about Carti. Yes.
Yeah, one day.
We've been talking about some things recently, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. That is going to get clipped for sure. So you tweeted this recently, I think. You were like, 2016 to 2018, you had to beat it or something, right? What exactly did you mean? Because I know that you are not someone that gets like stuck in the past. You're always moving forward. What did you mean by that? What do you think of what we're seeing in 2024? Because I've seen you following artists like Nettspend and like Shed Theory. And so yeah, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm I'm always fascinated by what's coming up, and I love watching what's going on right now. And I'm actually a big fan of like the underground movement right now, and I appreciate just watching from afar how it develops and what it's becoming. But when I speak on 2016 to 2018, and just like a thing that you had to be there, I think anyone that was witnessing what was happening in the just music community at that time can like understand. And what I mean by that is like streaming was just really becoming like a thing that people like were responding to. SoundCloud is at its height. You know, like artists there weren't a lot of artists that were signed yet. It was just a lot of people that were just trying things out and throwing things at the wall, and people were so welcoming to so many different like DIY approaches within just the art scene. And I think that the music that came out during that time, whether you think it aged well or not, it's stuck in your head as a moment in time, a memory that lives with you forever. So I can't speak for everyone, but for me, that's just something that I'll always remember. I remember what my days would look like. I remember running around, shooting everything I possibly could, bringing my camera to X, Y, and Z and shooting 10 videos in 5 days. And just, you know, there's so many stories that I hold close to me during those times. Videos that didn't happen, that almost happened, conversations that were had, the experience of what it felt like on set. So when I speak on that, I speak on more of the feeling and the texture of it all. It's like hard to put into words. That's why I said like you just had to be there.
You just had to be there, for sure. Special time. You mentioned 2024 that you're liking what you're seeing in this underground scene. It's like a big talk, and like within the industry, I feel like everyone texts. I feel like I get a text every day being like, "Are you sold on Nettspend? Do you think this is gonna be something?" Like, what's your thoughts on specifically artists like Nettspend, Osamason, like, you know, these very newer artists?
I think everything's just a feeling. Like I think music's a feeling, and I think there's a lot of beauty in art in what's happening right now, and it's way beyond just the music. You know, there's so much texture, so much raw emotion, and you might feel that through a music video, and you might feel that by how someone dresses, you might feel that through how someone articulates themselves in interviews. It's like, it's way beyond the music, and it's also not for everyone to understand. You know, it's like, there's things that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. There's things that I understand right away. It's all, you know, how you interpret it.
Got you. Makes sense. I had to ask this. I think the best part about interviewing you is you're very relatable, you know? Like, yes, you've done amazing big things, but I feel like everyone in this room can relate to Cole in some way, you know, whether it's his past or now. We see a lot of the wins, right? What's like a recent creative roadblock that you've been going through?
Wow, that's quite the question. I'd say this past year has been probably the most difficult time for me. Just because, like, I don't know, there's so much going on in every moment, and I think there's a point in your career where you're trying to do as much as you possibly can. Like I'm speaking on, you know, I was going to LA from Chicago and shooting 10 videos in 5 days and doing all these different things and just like being in that constant motion. And then you get to a point where, you know, you need to slow down. You're trying to put that back into the art, what you're creating. So you kind of slow down on volume and what you're working on. And then there comes points where even all the things you want to work on, you can't work on because you're so busy.
You simply don't have enough time in the day.
Yeah, there's literally not enough time in the day, and I feel like I'm always working. It's my whole life. It's also what I love to do. But there's moments, I have tattooed on my arm, it says work is death, and I got it when I was like 19.
You said work is dead?
Work is death.
Work is death, okay.
And the idea behind the tattoo is if what I do ever feels like work, then I'm doing something wrong. Like, might as well be dead. It's kind of dark, but...
It's a little dark, yeah.
But it's a reminder for me, and I think there's been moments in this past year, you know, like I said, the album was really ambitious and doing all these videos and just like all the things I've been working on. I'm like, damn, like this is a lot of stuff. You know, it's hard for me. It's difficult. And then on top of that, I'm going through a lot of things personally, you know, family and just different things in life. And I'm starting to feel like I have moments where I get stretched thin and like, damn, and can I do this, you know? And then you have these sobering moments where you sit back and you're like, I'm so thankful. I just need to retool some things in my life and say no more often. It's hard when you want to please everyone because that's how you satisfy yourself and your drive is by pleasing everyone around you. So I think it's about being a little bit more selfish moving forward and not in a way that's disrespectful, but a way that's pure and true to me and allows me to make the best art and be the best person I could be for my friends, my family, business partners, so on and so forth. So moving forward, everything I do, I want it to be me 110% in what I want to be doing. And I want to give the best version of myself in my art, in every experience we put together, in the lemonade, right? Like all these things, like I want to do it the best way. And the way to do that is to like realize like I'm not Superman, you know? And delegation is really important too. Coming from the DIY space where I'm shooting, editing all my videos, throwing all the shows, designing the merch, doing all that, there's moments where you're like, fuck, like I can't keep up, you know? And
trust me, I know.
Yeah, and burnout's a real thing. And I think delegation is important, but it's hard because attachment's a real thing. When you're a true artist, like when you love what you do, you love every layer of what you do. So delegating and giving something up to maybe make something better or to make something more efficiently isn't easy. And I think that's one of the most difficult areas of my career is like learning that to keep doing what I love and to scale in the way I want to scale, I have to delegate some things and I have to work with the team and I have to do this. And in return, I'm much more happy mentally, creatively, and then also with the final product. So yeah, I think, I definitely have roadblocks. I know I didn't give you a specific one, but there's a lot going on and I'm learning how to navigate it all.
Yeah. For sure. You know what's insane is like, I was writing these, so I'm writing my questions and there's a specific one being like, yo, Cole, I need advice. How do I delegate my tasks? Because I am so attached to everything.
That was one of the questions?
No, like literally, bro, it's one of the questions right
That's
there.
great.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that because I find myself, like you said, attached to a lot of the parts of the business, right? Whether it's a social post or it's like the visualizers or like, oh, like I need to drive the U-Haul truck to Shopify to drop off the merch, like things like that, right? And it's a lot, bro. Like, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I'll be like doing a normal life thing and randomly I'm like, fuck, like I'm in a Walgreens sending a voice note being like, oh shit, can you change this in the post, blah, 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 you know?
Story of my life.
How, I don't know, I know you might not have a concrete answer, but like, what's your advice to me? How do I delegate more tasks without being like, fuck, like I delegated that and that was bad and everyone thinks that I did?
I think it's patience. Like for me, I still post a lot of the Lyrical Lemonade Instagram posts.
No, I was wondering that, but
upload all the YouTube videos, do all the descriptions, make the thumbnails. Like these are things that like people wouldn't expect me to be doing, but I'm attached to it and it means something to me and it's important to me. But as you delegate things, you just have to be patient because we have such a clear vision of what we're trying to convey. And it's not always that easy to take this and to put it in someone else's brain. And there's going to be mishaps. There's going to be things you're like, man, you really shouldn't have did it that way. But that's what comes with the territory. And that's what comes with creating what you're building. You know, it's not easy. And it's also not easy to take that and pass it off to someone else to keep it up to what you've built it out as. So it's just, I would say it's patience and it's proper communication.
That's real. I feel that. Maybe I'll try that more often. I do have to say, you mentioned you got to say no more, right? And I'm surprised because you did all these videos for all these big artists. When I like talk to an artist over DMs and stuff, I'm revived, and then like a week later they'll be like, all right, let's do the interview, right? But maybe like I don't want to do their interview, but I still want to be their friend. They hit me with the unfollow, you know, like a day or two later. And I'm surprised. I'm like, how did Cole Bennett manage to like keep these strong relationships when I bet so many artists come to you being like, yo, Cole, let's do a video. Like, I'm sure you've said no to a lot of people. How do you maintain your relationships without people like getting mad at you?
Man, I'm just very honest. Like, if I follow someone or if I'm listening to someone's music or someone, you know, like if they reach out to me and want to do a video and maybe I'm not in the state of mind to do that video or something I'm not into in that moment, I'm like, yo, I'm just a fan. Like, I just want to be a fan. I just want to follow you. I enjoy your music.
You say that directly?
Yeah, all the time. I just like, yo, I'm a fan. Like, I just want to be a fan. Do you mind? You know, like, and, you know, like, we need to get ourselves out of the idea that just because, you know, someone is following someone on the internet or friends with each other or communicate that they need to be working. And I think we need to kind of remove that idea, because that's not the case. Like, it's okay to build really beautiful relationships where work isn't involved. I have a lot of great friendships within, you know, the music space with people I've never worked with, but we talk very regularly and have built a friendship. And then there's sometimes where people do get a little bit upset, like, you don't want to do a video for me, or blah, 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 blah. And that just shows you someone else's character, and you just gotta, you know, you just gotta move accordingly. That's okay. It's okay for people to get in their emotions. Like, we're human. It's regular. So I don't blame anyone for their response, but I'm just honest with how I feel as much as I can be.
Good for you, bro. For me, is I get what you're saying, but it's definitely hard when you see this artist in person and they're just like, oh, you dubbed me, bro. Like,
as people, we respect honesty, and if someone is feeling a way about something or emotional in that moment, I promise you, 5 years from now, they're gonna respect you for being honest instead of giving them the runaround. It's just what it is. You just gotta be honest and straightforward. And like I said, if they choose to respect that, it's up to them. But at the end of the day, like, they're gonna have to, because honesty is all we got. Would you rather be honest or give someone the runaround if they're like, yo, I would love an interview, let's do an interview. You had been talking to them for 2 weeks. Like, how would you handle that situation?
it's tough. It really depends on the artist. I feel like once you talk to an artist, you can get a sense of like, this person understands and you'll take it lightly and you won't think it's like personal, right? So it depends on the artist, but I'll also say that sometimes you just gotta ignore, and it feels wrong doing that sometimes because you're like, this person is so cool and I want to be friends with them and I don't want to ignore them. It doesn't make sense, you know, but like I know in the back of my mind, if I say no, they'll take it way worse. So instead I'll just be I might ignore it, and I see them in person and I'm like, oh shit, I missed your text, bro.
Well, I think...
Or like just seeing this. That's, if you want to ignore it, say just seeing this.
And sometimes we really do just miss texts, like miss messages. That happens. Do you remember the Aristocrat thing when he like publicly? Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Does anyone remember that? What happened? Long story short, and shouts out to Rich. I love Rich. But he had asked me to do a video for a song with him and Lil Wayne. Keep in mind, Lil Wayne's my favorite rapper of all time. I've never worked with Lil Wayne. I want to work with Lil Wayne, but I just didn't like the song. And I was like, yeah, maybe a different one. Like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling this. And he got really, really upset with me. And he started like attacking me and then posted on the internet that, you know, it's just a ton of stuff. And I told him no, essentially. And I just let it be. And I didn't respond publicly. I didn't even respond to him personally. I just let it be what it was gonna be because he was maybe going through something. I don't know. And then a year later, we did a video with him, Dex, and Jay Cribs. And, you know, like, he sent me the song. Dex is my brother. Without Dex, there's no me. I felt connected to it. I looked at it as, shout out to Dex, man. I looked at it as a beautiful opportunity to bring everyone together, and that meant something to me. So I wanted to do the video. And keep in mind, Rich had bashed me on the internet and said all these poor things about me, and I think you can't, like, you gotta know when to set stuff like that aside. And like, to me, my relationship and my brotherhood with Dex means more than anything. So when that opportunity presented itself, I'm like, I'm doing this. I don't care about what happened with Rich. This isn't about Rich, this is about me and Dex. And being able to share this moment with my brother. And me and Rich were able to have beautiful conversations and work through what happened through that. And, you know, like, it's all respect to him. People react in certain ways, and that's just part of life. But that was like a one moment where it really tested me of like, damn, I was publicly disrespected by this man, and now he wants to do a video. But who's on the song, this particular song, is someone that means something so much to me, so dear to me, that I was like, this means more to me than whatever that was.
Respect, man. That's tough, yeah. Yeah. That's a hard decision to make, and you know, shows a lot about your character. I do have to ask, because I know we're running out of time a little, and I want to get questions from the audience. But I do want to ask this, like, you've worn a lot of hats as a creative, you know, director, you made your own album, but you haven't actually been the rapper, right? I haven't
been what?
You haven't been the rapper.
Oh.
You've done ad-libs. You've done the chief ad-libs, but you haven't been a rapper. But for like all these people here, we have so many artists here, right? Upcoming artists. If you had to restart your career and be an artist, like how would you go about like marketing yourself, putting yourself out there?
It's a hell of a question. I haven't thought about that, to be honest. But what I would say would just be like, it's so hard to answer a question like this and not be completely cliche or say something that you haven't heard already. But just honestly, truly be yourself. Like, it is so cool when you discover new talent, and like this guy is not looking at what's going on to the left or the right of him. Like, he knows who he is and he's operating accordingly. And like, self-awareness is so important. And it's like, you know, to go back to that 2016 to 2018 time period, like, bro, there was a moment where if you wore the cloud goggles and had, like, you dyed your hair, like, you could get signed. If you were getting 1,000 likes on Instagram, you had those glasses and you had your hair dyed, like, there's a chance, like, you might get signed. Like, honestly, that's how crazy that time period was. And I think the beautiful thing about what's happening right now is that authenticity is winning. And that's the best advice I would give, because in 5 years you'll look back and you'll be like, damn, like, I did this and I'm me. Like, I'm not anyone else. You know, I think a lot of people are looking back right now who maybe rode a wave during a certain point, or like looking at themselves in the mirror like, fuck, man, like, I really did this to myself, you know? And there's some people that really are that all the way through, but I think some people aren't that. And I think just if you're yourself, you know who you are, it's gonna win.
Yeah. There's so many artists in here, and I knew writing these questions, I was like, I had to ask that, because like, I'm sure you guys can like relate to what Cole is saying, right? There's a lot more to it, you know, there's like the business side of things, right. But you know, you're not gonna give us a master class in 5 minutes. But hey man, I really wanted to leave a solid portion for you guys to talk to Cole. One sec. I love that though, I love that. I think a big reason we want to do these events is because like, I just don't like the feeling of like, everyone always being so like, not accessible, you know? Like, I want to create a moment where you can go up to your idol and just ask him that one question that might change your life, you know? So I'm gonna leave the floor open now. I'm gonna choose some people. I have to choose you first. So, but go ahead. Yeah.
Nice outfit, man. You look good. You look good.
I just want to, I need to know, like, start to finish, like, between the song and the video, which one on the album is your favorite, the process you just fell in love with, you know, from, you know, deciding who was going to be on it, constructing the beat, making the video, the whole thing.
Fly away or fall out, for sure.
Thank you.
Got you. Let's go. We said something, so yeah.
Hey, what's up, Cole? My name is Benji Mambo. My question is, I do videography and photography too. So I know that you do like 3D edits, all types of edits. Getting into editing, what is one platform you would say you would have to master as a videographer to take your talents to the next level?
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone. I, to this day, lay all my base edits in Final Cut Pro, and people look at me like I'm insane. But like everything you see right now, the base for that video was cut up in Final Cut Pro. So I've learned how to master that, but to each their own. And I think Blender is an incredible program. I think there's so many different areas. I think getting into color is really, really important. Da Vinci, like important, like really understanding just all the different layers to post-production. But yeah, I don't know, like I said, that's a difficult question because it's different for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
What's your name, by the way?
Hi, my name is Lucas Santana. Well, first of all, I wanted to know if it was cool if I gave you guys my card, just like pass it down to you guys. It's like a QR code that has my music on it.
Sure.
That's all right.
Sure.
Thanks. This one for you, one for you, so. And I also wanted to say, I watched that Tizo touchdown interview, and it was amazing. I really appreciated everything you guys talked about. And after I checked Twitter, and I see you followed me. And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm here. I just like that whole kind of thing went down and I got excited. But what I wanted to ask was, there's like a big conversation right now going on about like the future of streaming and the accessibility of like music versus paying or having subscription. With like James Blake and a lot of other artists talking about this right now. I wonder, what do you think about like what's gonna happen with streaming? Like what's going on with music monetization and stuff like that?
It's a beautiful question. The answer is, I don't know. But what I will say is that we're definitely experiencing a shift right now.
Absolutely.
And I think that people coming up with new ideas on how to monetize their music and put out their music is very important. And I think we're going to see a big shift in the next couple of years. And one thing I have learned over this last year, putting out the album and being a little bit closer to the business is that it's interesting. It's an interesting space, and I think it's time for a change. I don't know what that change looks like. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Good question, man. I'm gonna get someone from the back because I feel like we haven't done that. Let's do you and the white hoodie right there.
My question is basically, what's the best way to leverage the things you're capable to do and making sure people know what you're capable of doing in the fastest way? Because you can have a portfolio per se, but that word is so broad nowadays. Like you can have a website or a reel. Just what's the most powerful form that you can leverage?
Don't overthink it. I'd say that's the best way to do it. I think put out your art in a creative format that allows people to see what you can do. One of my close friends, Reduciano, he's a 3D artist. He's incredible. He's incredible. And I'm always telling him, I'm like, bro, post more. Like, you're doing so much. You just designed this whole clothing capsule. You did these 3D videos. You built this physical product. And if someone went to your Instagram, they would never know. That's the new age business card. So I would say don't think about it too much. Put it out in the most creative way possible, but don't overthink it. Because if you overthink it, then you run into the problem of maybe never putting it out. And I think people are so worried about engagement and like, do people like this? Or if they don't comment on it, does that mean that it wasn't good? Like, bro, throw all that out the window and just put your stuff out there in whatever way it feels right to you. And I promise it's gonna work out.
Thank you, Roshan.
I want to get to you guys up there too, for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, my questions are definitely a little different than everybody else's, but I feel like it tells a lot about a person, so I want to know what is both of you guys' favorite breakfast cereals?
Why don't we say it at the same time? It would be so cool if it was the same.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
And someone count down.
3, 2, 1.
Cinnamon
Cocoa Pebbles.
Toast Crunch.
Oh, okay.
I love Cocoa Krispies though.
Not the same.
Hey, to each their own, man.
No, but I respect that. That's like a close second. But
I really thought you were gonna say Cinnamon Toast Crunch also. I thought we were gonna be aligned
really?
at this moment.
Let's redo this. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I think. Sorry, I'm not gonna give a deep answer. Yeah, it's just Cocoa Pebbles. But
good question.
What's up?
So how you doing, boss man?
Doing great.
Alright, so my question for you is, this is a little specific, I apologize for it, but specifically, what made you interested in Lil Tecca back in the day? Because back in high school, when you made the music video for him, I know you said he didn't have too much money to give you, so you honestly did it off of a whim. What made you go with him?
Yeah, I did that video for free. When I did the Ransom video, I had gotten to meet Tecca at South by Southwest like 2 months, 3 months prior. He performed at the Lyrical Lemonade showcase at South by Southwest. And we just had a conversation, and he was just so pure and like himself, and this kid that had a big dream. And then when you heard the music, there was this really interesting like component that tied it all together in some strange way. It was just compelling. Sometimes I just have a feeling and I just go, and that was one of the ones where I just felt it, and I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Let's go with my guy here in the glasses right here.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm really only asking this question because I want to look you in your eye and tell you how much I love you and appreciate you. And the reason I'm here, all the way from India, New York is because the question I have for you is that you work with Kanye, Mac Miller, everyone's key. What's one thing that they all share in common, like the way that they move, the way that they think, what's something that they all got?
The one common element out of all artists I work with is, and they all show it in different ways, but it's passion. Everyone's passion, everyone has integrity. And sometimes that reveals itself in different ways. Like, for instance, like if I'm working with Ski, I don't know how to read him, but I could tell when he's not really feeling something, he'll do it. But like if the lighting's off, like I'll know, I'll know like to respond as he's watching the playback. Where if it's like someone like Kanye, I designed this jacket for him to wear and then this person out in this video. And when I brought it out, he's like, oh yeah, nah. He's like, I would have just designed it myself. And that's passion, that's integrity. I think like just communication is the one thing. Some people express it in ways that feel more aggressive, and some people express it in like pure excitement. But passion, because if people didn't want to be there or didn't want to put themselves out there or work on a project, then they just wouldn't be there. So I think it's great when you have someone provide an opinion or give their thoughts, whether they love it or they hate it. And I think that is all fueled by passion and integrity. So that's the one that's just the theme out to. Good question.
We haven't had a lot of girls talk, so let's get her right there in the purple.
I like your shirt. I like your shirt. It's a good
My name is Ariana. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about short form content and music videos dying out a little bit?
I feel inspired by short form content. I think it shows a lot of creativity. I think it shows people expressing ideas with less time, which is impressive to me. I think it's like compelling and impactful. People always ask me like, how do I start off? I don't have an artist to work with. How do I communicate my ideas? And I always tell them like, just use what's already out there. I made a documentary on Chance the Rapper back in 2013 with footage that was on the internet, live recap videos, interviews get done. I made a whole documentary. I made flyers for it. I posted around Chicago. through that documentary, Chance recognized me, and we started work, and he was a huge inspiration to me. And you know, that happened so many times. Like I was just like, what can I do to create without having the resources to work with these artists directly? A lot of the people I work with now, our main graphic designer, I found him, he's from Australia. I found him because he tagged me in like Lyrical Lemonade fan art. And I'm like, yo, he's crazy.
Definitely. Want to get one more girl? Let's get her in the front right here. Last few questions.
So I actually started a collective with my friends who are from Chicago, and we're trying to uplift Chicago artists. But we're kind of like struggling with sourcing like finances so we can really be at our full potential. So with like your earlier Lyrical Lemonade days, how did you kind of overcome those challenges?
Well, I think there's a very important stretch of time where you need to work for free. And I think the more you do that, proves to yourself whether you're passionate about something. If you're working for free, you're in it for months on end, maybe even years on end, you get to learn if you really love what you're doing or not. So that's step one. And if you're head down and really working on what you love with like-minded people, there's a good chance you're gonna be able to find a way to monetize that at least a year in. And do that could be you guys make a t-shirt and do a pop-up shop. That's a wonderful hoodie. I was gonna ask if that was yours. I would buy that. I would love to buy that. Yeah. But it's also putting yourself out there. Like you coming here and us having this conversation, like there might be 2 other people that come up to you after, like, how do I get one of those hoodies? It's like we have to put ourselves out there, and we also have to make sure we're passionate about what we're doing. So if you're passionate and you want it, those ideas will start to come, like, oh, I could do this or I could do that. But when it comes to monetizing what you love, you have to make sure that what you're monetizing is also what you love. Like if you're a YouTube platform that does interviews, when you make your hoodies and your merchandise, like you need to really make sure that the cut of that hoodie and the design on that hoodie is something that means something to you. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to be consistent. You got to love everything you do. And sometimes you can do something you don't love, but you learn from it, and then you keep on going. But you're going to figure it out. It's going to present itself to you.
Thank you.
Let's get one last question. One last question.
Who's taking? I think for a little bit.
This is so overwhelming. Let's go with him right here in the blue. Yeah. I'm sorry, there was so many people pointing to him, I had to.
Yo, what's up? My name is Joe from the Bronx.
What's up, man?
I created a company that's called Shoe Co NYC. So one of the biggest things about being from New York is shoes, sneakers. Majority of us are sneakerheads. And my whole life, I always wondered how I could really build something off of that. And we created a biodegradable shoe protector that protects your shoes, rain, snow, sleet. And one of the biggest things we're working on now is putting them in festivals so it can be used as merchandise so anybody can use it. And mosh pit, get turned up, and you all good no matter what.
Let's go.
So, have you ever looked at other companies or other up and coming up people who have merchandise they like to sell and give away? And what is it that you look for specifically, if you have?
All the time. A lot of it is like if I have friends that make clothes or do something that they want to put out, then that's usually, I'm like, okay, let's do it. But I'm always keeping my eye out for something that I think is effective, and that sounds like a good idea. So after this, we'll find a way to talk, and then you can
I love that. Wow. That's amazing, Brian. And shout out to you for even doing things like that, man. All right, guys, this is the end of this event. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. This is not the last one. This is the first one, and we will be doing this more often. And like, I'm already thinking of things like how we can improve. Like next one, I gotta make the music listening portion longer, right? Like, yeah. I wanna have you guys back. I wanna play all your music. Yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment. I know I've touched on it a few times throughout this interview that we just did, but you guys are looking at someone, proof of concept, who had an idea, who is just like everyone in this room, and knew he wanted to execute it, and step by step, here we are. This is an IRL experience of what he's been building out for the last 4 or 5 years. So give it up for Arshan.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys again so much. I don't think words can explain, because like, this is my inspiration right here. This is not just like some dude I wanted to interview because he's popular, bro. This is my inspiration, like literally. So with that being said, this is the first KTO live in New York, and it's gonna go down in history. So appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. All right, man. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
That was great.
I couldn't have pictured this going any better, bro.
Yeah.
And like the turnout, like the people, like they're so inspiring.
Yeah. I'm happy I could be a part of it, man. Like I said, this is cool what you built, and I'm thankful to be able to be a part of the first one.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. We got good chemistry, man. I believe my gut, and you never steer me wrong.